Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to a Love Like That podcast. I'm Brandon, and this is part two of our Guys Corner episode that you are getting ready to hear. Hopefully, you guys got a chance to check the first one. It's really good information there, really good conversation, really good perspective. So I hope that you all enjoy that as well as get a chance to listen to this one that's getting ready to play here as well. Anyways, let's go ahead and check it out. Thanks.
This is not a test.
And that's not to say that people can't have life partners without marriage. But what would be the reason for
That's the whole name. What's the reason?
what would be if you plan to spend your life and be life partners
Yeah.
with each other? You understand what I'm saying? To be able to hold each other down
Yeah.
in the time of need. You can get all those intangibles. Then why wouldn't you get married? Why? What is the knock? That would be my question for them. What would be the knock on?
Different reasons. Sometimes people don't have sometimes people don't have a spiritual religious foundation or connection to marriage. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have that, right?
Yeah.
You don't have a relationship with any God, for example.
Yeah.
Even if it's not Christ or whatever, right? Now, the only way to look at marriage is contractual. And if the contract doesn't make any difference what you're doing, they're like, man, why do it? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me, personally, my purpose in getting married was directly spiritually connected.
Mhm.
They were preyed upon reasons and purpose that are actually through the gates of God somehow still being fulfilled, right? But apart from that connection, my value to and now for me, the way I view it is I got married with a spiritual purpose under the spiritual purpose of the spirit God that created marriage. Like bro actually invented marriage, right? So we right in line. So, but if somebody doesn't have that connection, they're like, yeah, why? It's just a thing that you do, and we're already living together. Why go put our money together? Why, let the government tell us what to do?
But I mean, if investments and enterprise and businesses is what you strive for together, then marriage should be the number one thing on your.
Yeah.
If you think of it contractually,
I'm just saying.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, like you would think a person would think that way.
Yeah, I mean,
like if I'm looking to get business, gain businesses with you, and start to build somewhat of an enterprise with in the family financial stability, then you might want to be married.
Hey,
You understand what I'm saying?
But you got some people who've been married 2 times already and was like, you know what? I just want somebody I can be with, grow old with, die with, so I'm gonna die alone. But we don't have to get married. Like we don't gotta go through that whole process.
Yeah.
Folks just wanna, just don't wanna be alone. So,
But I think what people forget, and just this is from the spiritual standpoint, I think people don't understand the blessing of the covenant.
that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, as you said.
Yeah.
Religious.
Yeah, is that they don't understand the blessing of the covenant though. They really don't. And that comes into play, and when you are able to recognize it, for those who want to recognize that, you start to see. I saw the benefit once I put myself in that position to see the benefit, to recognize the benefit, and to acknowledge the benefit.
Right.
And that is part of it. Like I said, everything is with intention. I have to be intentional about me acknowledging it, accepting it, appreciating it, giving energy to it, to giving respect and love to it. That way it gives it back to me. And that was important for me in my marriage, in order to move forward where I'm able to feel good about what I have in my household and how my children will see what they see in their house, because my children are going to just imitate and emulate what they see their parents do. The majority of the time, that's what kids are going to do, or that's what they learn. They learn what to do or what not to do, either or. And I want my children to learn what to do, and that's going to be important to me, for real, from that perspective. So, speaking about children, how does that play a role as far as the balance act of making time for your spouse and then making time for your kids?
That's so.
Have y'all read the book, The Way of the Superior Man?
I have not.
I started. I have not finished. I have not finished it though.
Yeah.
The Ways of the Superior Man. That's that book Nipsey wanted everybody to read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and he talks about like, having purpose before you get into a relationship. in relationship is not just with your spouse. It can also be the kids, right? Like before you have children, like what is the purpose? Like, you know, what are the goals here? You know what I mean? And so, like how you talk about, the covenant and wanting to start a family and also show the family like what this is supposed to look like. And so
Hmm.
now you're creating, disciples, right? You know what I mean? So, man, David Data goes really deep into this book, man. He talks about not changing your mind just to please a woman. Like it gets deep, man. You ain't even read it. You said you
I
started
have the book. I started it, did not finish it. Yeah, I own it.
it.
Yeah.
But he
Hmm.
even talked about, going back to purpose. Like, if you let your wife know, hey, tonight I can only give you about an hour. That's mean an hour of quality time with you. I gotta go finish this over here for work. You know what I mean? Like she gonna be cool with that hour because you letting her know, hey, you're
Yeah.
giving me quality time. You know what I mean? No phone, no nothing. It's just dedicated time. Same thing with kids. But my routine is waking up early in the morning because I don't believe that I can truly get my own time at night. You know what I mean? Because you wake up parent. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
become employee, and then when you're done being employee, you parent again, and you husband. So like when do you really get to be yourself? So you got to really create that time. Like so for me, it's early in the morning, 5 o'clock. You know,
Just to get that time in for yourself. And I think that's important, man.
but,
Because yeah, you need to have that time to either set the day or to decompress from the day, either at the
right,
beginning or at the end. Depending on how your day is set up. So I know that was me. I used to be, I get 4 in the morning, whatever the case is, just to get all the stuff I need to get out the way. That way I can be everything I need to be for everybody else once they wake up. But just how it is now it's more so, listen, the moment that you guys go to sleep, I got these next 2 hours for myself
Come on, man.
to just,
yeah.
it's just me. I'm here and I can let that go,
I
you
gotta
know?
go to sleep like that. I
Yeah,
gotta lose sleep. I want to go to sleep.
yeah,
I mean, for everybody, for everyone, it's about balance, right?
it's about. Like I said, I would prefer to do that though. But I understand the needs of what my wife needs and what my kids, whatever the case. I know it's like yeah, like I used to be about serious about 9 o'clock. I'm in bed at 9. I'm in bed at 9 because I got to be up at 3. I got to be up at 4. Whatever the case is. But now it's Thursday nights, date nights. But we
Yeah.
not in the date night at no 9 o'clock. We out till whatever.
Mm.
And so it's not that's not gonna work. Or she wants to sit and watch a show, or she might whatever the case. So I have to figure out a way. Okay, this is what she needs at this moment. How can I balance this thing where I can still get my time, but at the same time they'll still whatever. And so we have understanding of those things.
Do you like quality time?
Do I like quality time? I like quality time. She likes it more.
Yeah, my wife is a quality time too,
Yeah,
man.
I like it too.
I'm not a quality time person, man. I'm not. That's not one of the
You know,
things.
God do it to appease her.
Yeah, like I know it's something my wife needs, but for me, it's like physical touch and active service. Like you do for me, I do for you.
Mhm.
That's all that matters to me. Like but my wife she needs quality time. My kids, I think that I owe it to them to give them quality time, right? Like, and so it's an interesting balancing act. I don't really have it figured out yet, to be honest with you, like because we do in my household we do too much. We're employees, bosses, businesses. I'm just be honest. I just feel like sometimes we do too much, and there's like right now we're in a pocket of time where like I said, we were dealing with grief, so we haven't been doing as much. We've been doing a lot more traveling and just kind of living life. But ultimately, it is a ultimate balancing act. I'm not even gonna pretend that I actually got it down because I don't. I've been trying to figure it out. Been trying to figure out whether or not I can get it in the morning, like you said,
Right.
or get it in the afternoon, like he's saying. And I just end up just fucking tired. Like that's what I've gotten out of it.
And sometimes you get tired because you're trying to make time, and by the time you try to think about how you can
How you
do
gonna
it,
make it?
you're so exhausted because you've been trying to figure it out in your head.
Yeah.
And yeah,
So as a husband, right? And if your wife needs quality time, does she make does she how can I put this? Is you figuring out her quality time need always on you? Or does she like, you know what?
Always.
let's go do this, let's plan this, let's do that, so I can
Mhm.
get my quality time with you? Or is it always or do you always have to figure out quality time for her?
My wife and I, we do a really good job. And this came through therapy. I think this is what I would say through couples therapy. We really learn how to create those moments for both of us. So it's like for instance, she'll find a show and say, we need to watch this show. You get what I'm saying? I'll find an experience and say, we need to go do this. Like, so we've gotten to this point where, like, for her, she's really big in watching TV and spending time and not necessarily have to go out, but I like to go out and do things. And so literally we just kind of find those pockets of time through those two different, avenues. But like I said, we got that through therapy. At one point, it was unbalanced. It was like I was doing everything, she was doing nothing. And then she was doing everything, I was doing nothing. And it's like, nah, you guys got to find some ways to come together in a way that it's not super burdensome on one side of the spectrum. And so that's something we learned through therapy. We hadn't had that. We had it really well before kids.
Mhm.
After kids, it became a struggle. And so we had to
Mm.
start kind of figuring out, okay, so what things that we used to do? TV was one of the things we used to do before the kids. And so our therapist was like, okay, there's still TV shows. Find some, watch them, right?
They still
And
make
then
those.
we used to do games. We used to be big time doing games. And so it was like, okay, well, find some games. There's still some y'all ain't played all the games. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right. You ain't knows.
You get what I'm saying? So order a couple games and y'all play it. And what you realize is, you think it's like, oh, quality time is, that's something my wife enjoys. You think like, damn, that's a block of time. But playing the game is like 30, 45 minutes. And
Simple.
it's simple. It's not even that. It's not as difficult as you think it is, but it has to be focused, right? And that's what intentional focus, and that's what matters.
Dude, sometimes, well, I mean, you know your friend. So backstory, I met Duke through my wife. They used to work together. When my wife and I first got married, she got a job and they were working at the same job, and then we all got cool together. Then his wife and my wife became BFFs, and that's how
Real
I
good
came
for
about.
us. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what it is. So sometimes, I want to go out,
Wife right there.
right? Right. So it's like, all right, so we're gonna go out, we're gonna do something, and then sometimes it might just end up being we just ride around in the city, just riding, and that's it. And it could be just looking, just going through the city, looking at certain things, people watching or whatever, and we just sit and we talk. And it's just discussions. It could be something like that. And it ends up being the quality time there. And sometimes it is, the elaborate date nights, or sometimes it's whatever the case is, but sometimes it could be something just really just, let's just ride together. That's it.
But do you hear the beauty and the simplicity of that though? Like I think that's the piece of it that Instagram don't tell you. Like she got the game messed up. You know what I'm saying? Like let's
Talk about it. Yeah.
get into that, bro. Like IG got the game. This man just said we're just driving around, having conversation, and we've enjoyed quality time. And some people would say that's a broke date. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
Broke or rich.
yeah,
That's
but
it.
I agree with you, but what I'm saying, like the society has started like conditioning people to feel as though that is subpar. You get what I'm saying? And literally, that's what I would consider an intimate date.
But you see, but that does work for people who have business arrangement marriages.
Yeah,
What you were
yeah,
talking about,
yeah.
the transactional.
I think my wife is struggling with the type of quality time she really enjoys. She's lying to herself, right?
Hmm.
She thinks she wants to go out, but we've become the constant homebodies. We don't.
Yeah.
We get out, and we complain about everything. So,
The cost is too high. We got to pay the part.
so you be careful what you ask for.
Yeah.
Of course, you want the quality time. So we said, hey, you know what? Jay told us, driving movie theaters a vibe.
Mhm.
Let's go and watch Bad Boy 2. Bad Boy 4. Everybody has seen this shit already. Probably gonna be out there. You know what I'm saying? Just a few of us.
Yeah.
It's time. Enjoy it. We get there. It's crowded as shit. It's only two. It's one thing you can tell us.
Starlight. Yeah, that's
Two concerts.
Yeah.
9:30, 11. Right? Now it's packed.
packed.
Out there.
That's one because
Yeah, it's summertime. Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's only because it's summer. You're right.
We all the way down more like
Yeah.
it's some bullshit. We get it in the he charges us. She like, damn, it's how much? You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I ain't
God.
think about that. I'm like, which screen is it? Which screen is it? We go over it. The niggas next to us is smoking the stickers.
Yeah.
And let go down the lantern, boy.
you're only 1 or 2 cars away.
It's not settling down.
Yeah.
Are you watching this? What is going on? And then I'm like, wait, is it safe for my car to be on accelerator? Isn't this draining the battery?
Right.
Yes, it is.
I said, wait, so we have to run the car the whole time. You know, I got 2024 Telegram, so it's cool. You know, it's silent
Yeah.
and it ain't gonna, hurt nobody else's ears.
Mhm.
But I'm burning gas.
Yeah.
Because it's a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Then they want to move from this side to this side. Then he out, getting the picnic. We just like,
Look, I'm ready to go home for you just hearing all that.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my goodness. That,
You gotta go. Didn't tell you that part.
it's summertime. Yeah, that's,
Yeah, back to the vibe.
Hey, barbecue on him.
Yeah.
behind me, get out, because he had his. So I'm
Now the light didn't work.
saying what's happening. Like everybody, what's a dude driving up and down the aisle? I'm like, is he security? Timmy like, is he security? I'm like, nah, that's a Hellcat.
It's
Never got
hilarious.
Wow. So that's how I'm like, you know what?
yeah.
Quality time.
Yeah.
Just understand that is us now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Because that same experience will happen whether we went to a restaurant.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? We thinking about the price, and we thinking about this.
Mhm.
We went to STK.
Serving.
Oh,
STK has the late night
Mhm.
joint, the late
Yeah.
night menu,
Mhm.
and I saw the Circuit Turtle.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, Circuit Turtle for $19. Yeah, that shit is good.
Mhm.
It was Wagyu steak. It was about this.
One serve, one turf.
It was Circuit Turtle. It was. You think about this thing, and the shrimp will buy like a little bit bigger.
But they said, what you
And they put it again. And they said $19. Now Wagyu steak, obviously it's $300.
Yeah.
So I get it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, damn, this is we just laughed and
Mhm.
we were like, yo, this is not
It's
us.
not. It's not. It's not
This
the
is
type
not-
of quality time y'all
Right.
are appreciating right now.
So, needless to say, my words of affirmation is my you understand what I'm saying? It's my love language. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Okay, I just like getting complimented for things that you didn't ask me to do.
Quality time.
You know, that's what that acts of service about to say, you know. But,
Yeah, acts of service. Like it used to be words of affirmation when we first got married. But after kids, it became acts of service.
Mhm.
But you just, to me, like man, you can say anything. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
but show me, like you know what I'm saying. Actions speak louder than words. So
Absolutely.
like nah, like I appreciate you more the fact that you did something I didn't have to ask you to do it. And you, like, you probably know I was struggling or you know I couldn't do it because you were organized.
Yeah.
You anticipated.
Harder. One time I held it down. This is a couple years ago. I held it down, and she left a note on the refrigerator. Just admiring the husband I'm becoming, and all of that shit like that. And I was like,
Ooh, that hit right
yeah,
there. Boy. That hit right there. No, because we were talking about it earlier, right? when you dealing with something that you're learning, you know what I'm saying, you're learning it
Yes.
as you go. Like you really building the plane that you
You
flying.
don't know if you're doing it right.
Yeah, you don't know if you're doing it right, and she affirmed
Yes.
that you're on the right track, bro.
Yes.
That's a major deal.
That's an
bro.
unlocked goal. That's
Yeah,
an
bro.
unlocked
Like,
level.
yeah, that's a new level,
That
bro.
makes you realize just how much of a kid you really are, because that's literally like the report card.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying on the fridge type shit. And I was just like,
I think this brings me to something I want to ask. Since I know this is not my show, but I want to ask
Hey, man,
y'all.
it's open forum,
Like,
man.
it's about we talk about how like we have men in our lives. They weren't they did certain things right, but there's certain things wrong.
Mhm.
I feel as if the people around us haven't learned how to appreciate the men that we are. You get what I'm saying? Because of the men that they dealt with. It's like
Mm.
and so it's not, and it's not that it's not a knock to anybody's fathers or
Yeah.
anything. We understand what generation we had to deal with before
Right.
our generation, right?
Right.
But it's been one of those things where I feel like we've been struggling with understanding that what he said, that note on the fridge is needed.
Mm.
That just knowing that I'm doing what needs to be done, it goes a long way, and I think that, I'm not saying that, people are bad gift givers to dads or whatever the case may be, but we know the case. We know what the deal is, right? We know the vibes, right? We know the vibes, right? And so what I'm saying is like, just society not understanding what men need in order to continue to go on doing what we're doing. I think we do a good job of doing that for women. Women, flowers. They need this. They need that. Like I think somebody posted this, like, men learn how to treat women early. You get what I'm saying? Like, we learn what women
Yeah.
need, what they want very early. Women don't learn how to treat men. They learn what they to expect from a man,
Mm.
but they do not learn.
Speak on it.
But women are communicators, so they're very.
Yeah, they're gonna put it out there. Yeah,
They're very vocal in one way or another, if not both ways. We're opposites typically. We're not vocal.
we're not saying nothing.
So we don't give anybody the opportunity to learn. So it becomes a secret that we really need the note on the refrigerator.
There we go. There we go. That's what I'm saying. Like, we need to express that.
Did you blow it up when she did that?
I posted that shit on social media.
Hey, my God.
Yeah, niggas take note.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta pop out of shit. No, but let me make so it's an over forum. Woody's and just his words of affirmation is my love language. Sometimes bad attitude.
Mm.
The bad habit. It's the Usher song. Love, bad habit.
Bad habit,
We
yeah.
call it the. So that's my life. That's I could be better at being more vocal of the appreciation. It's crazy because this, when she hears this, might be the most she's heard about my appreciation for her, and that's sucks.
I got you.
To be honest with you, because I really should be most comfortable with saying that to her.
But when she hears it, though, she's going to appreciate it because she understands how you feel about it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Now, more questions. Now she gonna want to talk about it.
Yeah. So where can you be better?
Where can I be better at? I'm critical at times. My profession, I am a therapist, and so
Oh, word. Okay.
So I feel like I'm very in tune with my emotion.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like I can address it too. Like, hey, babe, I don't like how that made me feel when you said that.
Okay.
And so my wife can be kind of hard sometimes, and so she's like, man, I wasn't trying to say it like that. And
Where's she
so
from?
she from here, North Atlanta, yeah. But she will also call me out and say, the same expectation that you have for me, like you don't always have for yourself, or
Mhm.
like the way you want me to be mindful of how I speak to you, you're not always mindful of how you speak to me. You know what I mean? And so, and I hear that, you know what I mean? And I can easily say, yeah, I'm working on it, but so can she, you know what I mean? And so I think just really starting to take more steps of being more mindful of what I'm saying. And so I've even started to slow down when I speak, or I'll even process more. Like when she responds or she says something, I know I try not to respond right away, or I'll say, "Hey, you know what? Give me a second. Let me process what you just said." You know what I mean? So I can give you the very best response. You know, and so just really trying to slow myself down and being mindful of my tone. You know what I mean? Because that's a big thing too for I think anybody. So just being
Yeah,
mindful of my
tone. Yeah.
tone, slowing down when I speak, or actually processing and thinking about what was said. Because and I tell my clients it's like, bro, nobody can force you to say anything any faster than what you want to say it. So if you say, hey, give me a second, not every time, of course, but just so it doesn't lead to an argument, give me a time and give me a second to think about what you just said, so I can give you the very best response to that. So that way we don't end up in an argument right now. You know what I mean? Because it ain't the time or the place for it.
Yeah.
So,
And I think you learn that through marriage because when you first get into it, you're going to bump your head and then you're going to get in those nasty, ugly,
Lord,
Man,
and it happens. It's like, yeah, this ain't it, Chief. I'm out. I'm out.
Yeah.
But you learn that after you come on the other side. After you come out on the other side of that, to
Yeah.
get to that point. So at least you're able to know that about yourself.
Any y'all got places of improvement? Well, we all got places of
Yeah, I
improvement.
mean, for me, I always say just learning how to always anticipate.
We got the time.
Right. Where do I start?
Right.
I would say for me, I always want to make sure that I'm doing a better job of anticipating her needs as much as possible. I mean that's what I would say is the main thing for me is always learn because I just think as men, one thing I've learned, it's going to be on us eventually at some point in time. It's just going to be us. It's just going to be us. Okay, what did I miss? What did I miss?
Right.
yeah.
All day.
It's just going to happen, you know. Um, and so for me, it's how do I anticipate the need before before it gets to the babe, I think it's funny how, or you get that whatever,
Yeah.
whatever your spouse may say, whatever the response may be, or I didn't feel whatever. So for me, just anticipating, and I've got to a point now, I think, we nobody's perfect in this, but Jackie and I have been, we work at trying our best to be intentional on communicating to the point we understand our habits, our nuances, and what we need, and just kind of where we're at with certain things, so we kind of know how to navigate, how to address each other, how to approach each other. But even with that, though, even though we could feel positive about it, but still, as the husband, I know I need to make sure that I'm working on anticipating her needs, just as just always being one step ahead because that's what we do.
Yeah.
Make sure we can be that soft landing when we need to be for where we need to be for them. So that's important. That's important.
I think for me, I I I need to first of all, I need to work on myself. I think me and my wife have done a really good job at couples therapy. So we've done really good at like maintaining the marriage really well. Um, I need to start working on myself though. I think that there's some aspects of me that are triggered by certain things, and I didn't realize it until recently. This is like a recent discovery that like I can take criticism about being a husband. I have a problem being criticized as a dad.
Oh.
I have a
Mm.
and
It's
because
highly personal.
it's highly when I say I go there, I go there when it comes to being criticized as a father. And I was just talking to a friend about it. It's like, man, like I spazzed on my wife because she was having a conversation with my daughter about how I talk to my daughter. And my daughter's, I have one that's like super, she follows all the rules. She's quiet like her mama, does everything like her mom. And I have one that's like me that just talks shit, has an attitude. She's fiery, and that's the one I bump heads with, right? And so her and mom are like having a conversation about how me and her talk. And I'm there. Like I'm in the living room, they're talking. I'm in the living room, they're talking to each other, but I hear them. And I just could not take the criticism. I just couldn't. I lose it. Like I'm like, she's this, she's that, and we get into a full argument. And then later on, as I reflect, I'm like, man, like as a father, I need to be able to hear my daughter say, you know what, Dad don't listen to me sometimes. He kind of cuts me off a lot. He doesn't really. He thinks I'm this. He thinks I'm that, and be able to listen, internalize that, and become better in how I communicate with my daughter. But because that's a sensitive area in my life. I mean, I didn't have a father. I don't have a good example of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so when somebody touches that, it stings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When somebody like comes for that, it hurts. And so I react the only way I know how to react, which is emotionally.
Yeah.
And so that's something I'm literally going to start going to a separate therapist about. Because me and my wife have a therapist that we deal with family things, marriage things with. But
Mhm.
I think how most of the time we don't realize when it's a me thing. That's a me thing. That's like something I have to work on myself so that I can be a better husband, father, whatever the case may be.
But you have
So,
to recognize that though.
we had an argument that me and my wife don't argue a whole lot. We've done a lot of like maintenance, and so the way we communicate is very respectful. That day it was like, man, you don't fucking talk to me. You're like, it's like, and I realized like, bro, what the fuck was in me to have me talking to my wife like that?
Crazy.
And it was really,
That little boy.
it was a little boy inside of me that was like, bro, like I'm a little boy. I'm trying the best I can. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To raise kids. I've never seen a man raise kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying the best I can. And my kids, you met my kids. You know how they are.
Yeah.
They
You're a great kid.
you do everything I can. They have it all. I take care of them. I'm super involved. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that dad that didn't touch diapers, didn't like. I'm that dad that's like, yo, go. I got him. You know what I'm saying? But it's like that just a little bit of criticism got me out of body, bro. And I was like, you know what? I gotta work on that. You know.
That's real, man. I would say, I mean, if anybody needs to go, I was just going to say, um, as our children progress, as they're growing up, how are we managing ourselves with the evolution of our children and who they are becoming and what we see
Mm-hmm.
from them, which could be a reflection at times.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I remember I had hit you with that message.
Oh yeah,
When like my son, he's starting to, feel himself. His penis, right? You
yeah.
know what I
Hmm.
mean? And so, like, it just seems like it could be wrong, but you don't want to make it wrong, right? And it's just like for y'all who have older sons,
Hmm.
like did y'all experience that? How did y'all approach having that conversation with your son about his man parts?
So for that part, I, surprisingly or not surprisingly, um, I mean, obviously he knows about it, but we haven't had to get to that part. We skipped that part for some reason. We skipped that part for some reason. Um, but I have had conversations with him about his private parts, about um, you know, the whole. We haven't gotten into full detail yet. I'm waiting to 12 till I have to talk.
Okay.
I'm waiting for 12. I am.
Hunch in the bed and stuff.
You're like,
But
Come on.
I'm waiting for that. But I mean, but he understands certain things. I early on, like from 5, 6 years old, whatever the case is, for him and for my little girl, my daughter, who's understood good touch, bad touch, whatever. Your private parts. Blah blah blah. But then, this is yours and yours only. But be mindful, be respectful of it. And I think once I looked at that, I haven't heard anything else different or seen anything else different. But I think this boys are boys. They're gonna figure things out. They're gonna try things out, figure out, explore, whatever the case is. And that's not anything different than probably what other kids they have done, and through time, in that regard. But yeah, no, yeah, I'm sorry. I know. I'm
I'll
waiting
say
for
this. I don't have a boy, but I have a godson, and he's 14. And so he's at that age where he's really feeling himself. He doesn't, his father's not really in his life like that, but his father's in his life, but he doesn't have those type of conversations. So my friend was just like, could you talk to him? And I found that just being real, just like literally approaching it like I was there. I experienced this. You know what I'm saying? What questions do you have? And you'll be shocked. Like they have really good questions. I was like,
Sometimes too good
so
questions.
too good. It's like, yo, all right. It's like, so when did you first? When did how did you feel about that? What kind of, and I think that was for me, it felt like an authentic conversation because we were going about it from a like, it's like a coming of age thing. I know where you're at. I've been there, and just kind of seeing, what's going on up there. You get what I'm saying? Because just having the conversation, most of the time we try to avoid it because it's kind of awkward, right? It's an awkward thing. But it really wasn't as awkward as you thought. It's like as soon as we started kind of getting into it, it's like, man, like you could see in relief, like, I've been wanting to talk to somebody about this, but I didn't, nobody, his pops wasn't talking to him about it, and his mom felt kind of weird to talk to him about it. So it's like, yeah, I've been wanting to talk to somebody, but I just didn't know, how to go about it. So I think you just open the door and you just be authentic about what your experience was, what you're noticing, and just kind of see where he's at. And I think uh, that's the best way to go about it. You know what I'm saying? You just open the
Yeah.
door and see what.
And coming from a place where they sense, because children sense
Yeah.
things anyway. They can sense when, okay, I'm about to be judged, or I'm about to be in trouble, or I'm about to get reprimanded for this, or whatever the case is. And just coming from a sense of, what, my dad is asking me this question because he genuinely wants to know and understand. That's helped me out with my son, because I'm like, hey, listen, I'm not going to, let's just talk, and let's just see where you're at with this, and then we can figure out how to navigate the next step. So that's important.
The hesitation probably, I can imagine, is like not being able to answer the
Yeah.
question. Like you said, the question would be too good sometimes.
Man, what? He was just like, yo, like when you first start having sex. Okay, well, you know what I'm saying? I was like, well, look, I was like, yo, I was in the hood. I was 12. I don't expect you to be in that space. Like we were we were in an apartment. My parents weren't at home. Like we were kids doing things we had no business doing.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But you're in a completely different environment. You're growing up in a different space, like those, and they understand the difference. You get what I'm saying? And it's just interesting when you have that conversation. I mean, you start asking some real interesting questions. It's like, so should I talk to my mom about it? I should ask my mom when she. I was like, like literally, but it opens the door, and what you'll find is, if you're cool about it, they're cool about it.
The reason why I was laughing because they're about Cedric. Say he thought he was ready to have that conversation with his teenage son, and then teenage son asked him like, "Man, okay, well, you the dad, don't you hate when your dick fall off?"
Yeah. All right. So I have to ask. So I think that's funny. All right. So I said my son's 10. I know, and your boy's 13 now, right?
Mhm.
So having him already being in a teenage stage right now, how are you navigating that or preparing yourself for these next few years?
It's crazy because like as far as what aspect.
Just in life, obviously, the sex and all this other stuff.
So it's weird. So my son feels very close to both his parents, but communication wise, he has actually a more open gate with wife, and they talk about everything. Right
Yeah.
now, I can talk about everything with my son, but it's like my wife is the first point of contact where she lets me know, like, okay, he's experiencing this. It's time for you to step in and do the dad thing there,
Yeah.
Mm.
right? So it's like a 1-2 punch, right?
Mhm.
That's usually where He's like, and she kind of gets weird. You gotta go to dad with this. You think you could? Yeah, you have to do. Okay, but they talk about any and everything usually first, and then it's kind of like, okay, that sets the stage. Like, it needs to stay in this area. And then sometimes that conversation with them would be, I want to talk to dad about this. Okay, we'll talk to your dad. So I'm sorry, I'm like kind of far away from Mike, but that's the way I kind of do it. And then when we do talk, it's just kind of raw, open, honest. It's a little bit different with my son because my son, he really doesn't want you to bring it to him head on until
Hmm.
he's ready to kind of face it. When he's ready to talk about it head on, he's having
Right.
an open conversation. But if you come at him with it weird first,
He's gonna.
he's like, oh, what
Right.
you doing? You know
Right.
what
Right.
I'm saying? I can already see it in my daughter's personality. It's probably gonna be the opposite with her.
Oh boy.
But yeah, so and he's more. His focus really isn't really yet on sexual stuff, but he's really trying to find his place in this world
Yeah.
Mm.
right now. He's really trying to find. He's filling out, as you would imagine, with the struggles of his own identity and being
Hmm.
okay with it.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, even if I'm okay with this about me, where's my place in the world like this? And oh my gosh, not everybody accepts me.
Hmm.
These people do, but why don't they? This, that, and
Hmm.
the third. And reassurance is key
Yeah.
with him right now. The one thing that I'm very happy with my son, very, very, very happy with, is that affirmation from his dad means the world.
That's a beautiful
It
thing.
means the world to him.
Yeah.
My words, my physical touch,
Hmm.
my time, everything about our relationship makes or breaks him. Which is a huge responsibility, scary even, because I'm like, who do you think I am, dude?
That's wild,
You,
bro.
you, that's who you
That's
are.
wild because
Your dad. That's Superman right there.
But it also gives me a chance, the opportunity to plant seeds.
Yeah.
Like, you're okay. You can do this.
yeah,
When he's unsure about something, when he's like, because he can take a negative spirit to things that may challenge him a little bit too much.
Hmm.
And so now I can really plant that seed. Like, no, you're in this situation, or I've directed you to do it because I know you can. You are able. It may not be easy, but I am telling you, you have what it takes to be successful. Anything less than that is unacceptable. So I don't care how many times you try, how many mistakes you got to make. I just want to see you try your hearts, and those things start to take root a little bit.
man, that's
So it makes me check myself all the time. Again, going back to what I said earlier, my relationship with my children, especially my son, I learned so much about how God views me. I
Mm.
learned so much. So I'm just right now the focus with him is just really on purpose, and I prayed a lot on his purpose before he was born, and God shared with me about who he's supposed to be in this world. So just really reassuring who he feels supposed to be and what he's supposed to do is what I'm focused on now, and that's a big thing with him. That's a big thing with him being okay with his identity.
Yeah.
So that's the thing I'm with right there.
That's important that he values your approval, your words to him.
no, that's power, man.
That's the
That's
best thing.
power, man. Like when I said earlier that people could see that I didn't have a father, it's because that what you just said, everything you planted in him, I didn't have in me. You get what I'm saying? Like I didn't have that because that's a masculine thing. That's like you know, men don't speak as much as women speak, but when we do, everybody feels it in the home.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And so when you speak into your child and you're giving him that confidence or giving her that confidence, telling her that's something I do all the time. Like to my daughters, like affirming them, like you can do this. You can overcome your fears. Fear is just it's a mind killer. Just all of those things. That's a masculine thing. And just to see that you're doing that for your son. When people meet him, they'll know his dad is there. You know what I'm saying? And that's wild to see the full circle of it, bro. It's beautiful, beautiful.
That's an important thing because I think I've had a chance to meet your son and he's a phenomenal young man. He really truly is. And I know you don't need me to tell you that because I know you already know it. But I really do. You can see the effects, the positive effects of having of what he sees and what he's able to emulate and what he's able to receive from you two is important. And I think that, I think we are, all of us here at this table are doing our best um to be the light that we had or that we wanted to have growing up, you know? So which leads me to this. When our kids are grown and they're leaving, leading their lives and everything else, and then they say, you know what, Mom, Dad, I found the one I want to spend the rest of my life with. What do you feel that you want their biggest takeaway to be from what they saw from you and your spouse, from their parents?
What do we want out?
What do you want them to feel like they could take away from mommy and daddy? I learned this from my parents about love, about
Respect.
marriage.
Respect. We're very big on naturally. We don't have to like go out way and do it. My wife and I were very big on speaking to one another respectfully in the home.
Mm.
Please, thank you. I appreciate it. Being mindful of our tone and our vibe. Not saying it doesn't get out of hand, but when it does, there's accountability. Because love ain't gonna always be there. That emotion ain't gonna always be
Hmm.
there. But you gotta respect each other. You have to respect each other's feelings, respect each other's space, respect each other's emotions, time. You know, that's a big thing.
Huge.
Kindness. I think, I just want my daughter to see that we were genuinely good people in the way we treat others, way we treat ourselves, and similar to what he's saying, like as far as the respect level that we give each other in the house, and just doing for others. And I want her to see, like, that she has two parents that honor that. Yeah, kindness, definitely.
Or I would say that that's important. Anybody want anything into that?
Nah, I mean, respect is fine. That's what we lead with in my house. Like we don't do a bunch of yelling. We don't do a bunch of going. Like
That's why I bothered you that so much
we
when you had that
bro,
going on.
yeah, bro. My kids have never like seen me yell at my wife.
Yeah.
That day, I went there. Like I was like, oh, you got me. I was like, I never do that. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, that's the respect level has to be at a certain level. I only talk to my wife in a certain tone. I only talk to my kids in a certain tone. You're not gonna have me. I mean, of course, you got to yell sometimes to get the kids in order or whatever the case
Hmm.
may be. But ultimately, the respect for everybody in the home, they need to feel safe in the home, and that's that's something that goes real, real far.
Yeah, I apologize to my kids for yelling at me.
Me
Out of
too.
frustration. But
Mm.
this was the principle.
Yeah,
But I shouldn't have drank.
I shouldn't have. Yeah, I should actually be better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for mine is, I think it tells everybody else's too. Just like healthy communication. Like I tell my kids, use your words.
Yeah.
Use your brain, use your words. And so I think even, later on in life, like that's just a valuable life skill is to be able to talk to people. You know what I mean? Like you said, respectfully. Uh, but also see the good in the person too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna marry a dumb woman or a dumb man. So like if they make a mistake, recognize that that wasn't their intention to upset you, disrespect you, hurt your feelings, or anything like that. So like you said, give grace before, but see the good in the people. Yeah.
That's the value. That's the value. Okay. So here's my last question here. The one that y'all been waiting for. Not really, but here it is. Uh, y'all gotten caught by your kids yet?
Yes. Yes. My daughter will not let it go. Oh my
Really?
Oh
God.
no.
And it's been news everywhere she's gone.
Oh.
She didn't buy the wrestling. She
It
didn't.
was just a DDT move.
She's still not sure what was going on. And she kind of got an idea. But yeah, it's been like 2 years. She's still investigating.
I haven't. You know, my daughter's a little too young to know what we're doing anyway. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, yes.
My daughter, she knocked on the door a few times. It's like,
Feel,
what?
We heard a little voice. What are you doing? That was
Yes.
we didn't know she was even there until we heard. What are you guys doing?
Very.
Oh man,
Oh man.
I
the door was hard to explain.
look, I got the. Are you jumping on the bed? And I was like, yeah. There you
Jumping
go.
on the bed.
There you go. Where you go with that?
never got caught.
Nah, me neither. We haven't got caught.
All right. Yeah. Y'all lucky. My son walked. He just busted the door open. He busted the door open. But thank God for the innocence of children at that time because it didn't phase him not one bit. After he closed the door, I don't know how old he maybe like 6 or 7, whatever, 6 or whatever. So okay, bye. He closed the door. I looked at my wife. I was like, "Are you serious? Are you serious?
Right.
Wow!" Like I don't know how we continue after this. It's like, okay, let's whatever. So because it's fine that quality. It's that quality time with your spouse, and sometimes it's that physical touch that you need. And sometimes kids, they be blocking it sometimes. And so I'm trying to figure out how people have been navigating that. It's kind of tough. I had to ask that though. But anywho, I would say any as we get ready to wrap this up because I think this has been a good conversation. You guys have really you guys have provided value, not just conversation, not just talk, but value. So I appreciate you guys for that. Any parting words that we want to say for our listeners out there, for people who for the men out there who are trying to figure this thing out called marriage, who are either getting ready to get into it or are about to are already in it already.
Find a friend, find a peer
Community.
that you can just at least one where you can just talk, right? And some that you can really bear it all with. Frank, one of my guys. You know what I mean? And then find an older man.
Yeah.
Good,
Get you an OG,
man.
yeah.
Get good,
Yeah.
bad, or indifferent. Just listen, bro.
Yeah.
Just listen. Even if he did it wrong, he's gonna tell you how. He's gonna tell you what to avoid. I'm always for having a relationship with an older black man
Yeah.
all day.
He said, Martin, old fool, you speak.
Young fools, right?
That's right.
All right, I appreciate that. I
I
appreciate
think for
that.
me it'd be grace is required for the journey. I think that's the thing. Like grace is required for the journey. Fatherhood, for being a husband, head of the household, whatever pressures it is that you're putting on yourself with the titles that you carry, grace is required for it. And even if you've seen a good example, your situation is not the situation that you've seen. And so it's always going to be different. And so grace is required for the journey. So give it to yourself and required of others as well.
Or
Yeah. Be able to heal. You know what I'm saying? My little breakdown is feel, deal, heal. So feel it, then deal with it, then you can heal from it. So even as you approach your new relationship and not having any idea what you're about to walk yourself into, you want to be very mindful of what you are bringing into it. You know what I mean? Like if you look at your house and it's junky, right? That's how your head look too. You know what I mean? But once you can clean your house, that means your head's a lot clearer too. You can think better. So if you go into a relationship, try to clear some stuff out. You know what I mean? Before you really get enmeshed into it, because that person gonna be bringing their own too, plus what you got, and it just probably ain't gonna work that well. So the best you can, man. Like come in with a clean heart, clean spirit, bro, and be as healed as possible.
I like that.
I like that. That good, yeah, feel it.
Feel,
But that'll keep it for real.
right.
Feel it, heal from it. No,
Feel,
heal from it.
Yeah.
Feel Deal Heal. I love that. That's
I just, my parting words, I would just challenge every fella here, saying we all said some pretty deep and intimate things about our significant others, and to just challenge us all to work on it, not now, but right now, right? 'Cause I just heard I have a friend said something pretty deep to me recently that the most arrogant thing a man can do is assume that God is going to give him tomorrow to figure it out.
Sure.
So, like if we know and acknowledge everything that here and we laid it out on the table, things we can do better, and things that we've learned through experience and stuff like that, you can start putting that into fruition like immediately. So like tonight, I not acknowledge that I'm not the best with words. I love receiving them, excuse me, but I'm not the best with giving that same compliment. I'm still start this evening. You know what
amen.
I'm saying? So
So stuff.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, go for it.
There's a book called Dash Journal. I don't know if you ever heard of that, but it's 100 things I want you to know about me. And so like I bought several followers this book before, but it's just like different sentences or like that, what was your favorite food as a kid? Who were your grandparents? Like what were your parents like? It goes all the way from like birth to like your funeral.
Yeah,
Like,
I
when you
got
your
I have
funeral.
the book.
Yeah, so I would suggest that a lot of men get that book, especially if you didn't have the opportunity to hear from your father and know everything that you wish you could have known. At least you can give that opportunity to your children to know as much as they can know about you. Questions that they can't even think of right now to ask.
Hmm.
Just like you just said, tomorrow ain't promised. So, like, give them as much as you can. It's almost
Yeah.
like giving them some kind of guideline, just in case your day isn't tomorrow.
right.
That's what's up. I love that. I love that. I now have to make sure I get that. I would say my parting words was everything that you guys said. Just because it was, you guys said everything. I'll keep mine real simple, man. Listen, keep God first. If you're a single man out here trying to figure this thing out, I'll put it like this: if you can't picture her being the mother of your children, don't waste your time with her. Simple as that. And it's just the truth, though. Second part, for people who are in a marriage and are good, bad, and different, understand this: marriage is either working for you or it is working on you. And as long as you understand that it's working for you or working on you to be the best version of yourself, and you recognize and accept it, you'll be just fine. Again, Sam, Frankie, Drew, Jay, I appreciate you brothers for coming on,
Hey man,
for coming out here,
you, bro.
and
Yeah.
This
you
is
know,
ministry that you just put together right here, dog. This is great.
Liberating.
hey man, listen, I just want to get some good quality brothers out here, man, that